Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks again for your comments. Love them. They really give me the energy to keep going. So thanks, guys. Keep those comments coming. Now, this is a catch-up video. So I'm asked to do a lot of requests, and I try and do that. But some I don't want to devote an entire reading to. So I've decided to do a 3-in-1 today. So I'm going to do Hillary. I'm going to do the Mercers and Tom Steyer, or Steyer it's probably pronounced, who is the mega donor for the Democratic Party. And I grouped them together in my head, and the essential question is, will each of these be having a role to play in the next election? So let's see what's happening there. So this will be 3 short readings in one. So poor old Hillary, love her or hate her, oh, she must be gutted, mate. I said, mate, she must be gutted. So the first question is, will Hillary play any role in the next election? So obviously that could be endorsing a candidate or doing a speaking tour or releasing another book or something. Okay, so just so you know what I'm aiming at here. Will she have any role in the next election? Hillary Clinton and the next election. Okay. Let's see what's happening for Hillary. These are just 4-card readings. Yes, well, she has potentially been offered a role by the Democratic Party as obviously a consolation prize, or she thinks she does have a role to play. I don't think so. I think it's more likely that she's a spent force, but they will probably offer her a token role in the publicity or something. She's not going to take it, I don't think. The Sun, which, as we've talked about before, is either a huge card of good fortune and luck and everything going swimmingly, or shining a light on something. I think too much dirt has gone down that has stuck to Hillary. So I think she was hard done by in terms of the Benghazi stuff, because she wasn't out there with a machine gun mowing down people. She was Secretary of State, but she is a hawk, and she's also, like all phenomenally wealthy people, you dig far enough and you'll find something grubby. I don't think she's bent per se. I suspect what's happened is, like with the Clinton Foundation, you trust other people to do their jobs ethically and they don't always do it. I'm not a blind supporter of Hillary. Symbolically, she had a really important role, which was to be voted in to be the first female president, and that didn't transpire. So she's had her moment in the sun and it didn't quite come off, and now she's so not in the sun. It's the opposite of being in the sun, which is out in the cold. So I think this is going to be a token offer, and I think that the Democrats are privately hoping, oh, please, God, retire Hillary. It wasn't fair what actually happened at the end, but we've got to move on as a party, so I'm really sorry. Okay, but time's over. And in terms of what's being exposed, the group work here, trying to find out more and more dirt. So if she sticks her head up over the parapet, more dirt will be found. So I think that's about it for the Hillary. And please, God, Chelsea, go and work for the United Nations or something. I think you're a bright, committed person with a huge heart. Please do something for the world. But don't go into politics. Maybe it's because I'm Australian or something, but I don't like dynasties, you know, this born to rule stuff. I think Chelsea does have a role, but I really hope it's not in mainstream American politics. So for now, that's Hillary. So let me do this, put these cards back in the pack and reshuffle. So the next ones in this series of mini readings are the father Robert and the daughter Rebecca Mercer. Their names bandied about a lot. They're mega donors for the Republicans and the right-wing Breitbart News and other right-wing organisations. Apparently, Robert, the father, famously said on the record that he thought African Americans were better off before the Civil Rights Amendments of 1965. I mean, this is a man who obviously is still embedded in that entrenched racism of previous generations that we'd like to think is moving on, but he's spending his money on right-wing organisations to keep this divisive stuff out there. You know? So, Robert and Rebecca Mercer, will they play a role in the next election? The Mercers, the next election. The Mercers. Okay, King of Swords. Now, as we know from other readings, this is often Mullah as a justice figure. I wonder if they're not so much their financial dealings, but whether there is something about their support of Breitbart and therefore Bannon that has been caught up behind the scenes in the investigation. I hadn't thought of that. I don't think it's mysterious. Everyone knows they backed Breitbart and they backed Bannon. Rebecca has now become a delicate little flower and walked away from Bannon, but it's too late. They created him, they funded him, and they support the worst of his ideas. I wonder. Okay, what else is there? All right. We have the quasi-celebration card, if you like. The Four of Wands, which is two figures celebrating, might be father and daughter, but the celebration is not being enjoyed by others at this point. And also, as I point out, the perspective, their figures are somewhat smaller than what they set out to do, which was wow the world with these wands. So they're still powerful people, but perhaps not as powerful as they were. What is interesting, very interesting to me in such a short reading, is this card, that the figure has, female figure, that the hands will be tied and surrounded by swords. I think this often happens with intergenerational wealth. Robert Mercer, the father, supported all these right-wing organisations and these right-wing agendas, and the daughter's rolled on with that. But perhaps her wings are a bit clipped now because of the King of Swords. So, just to clarify what I'm thinking here, I think Mullah has actually found something that wasn't quite right about the connection with Breitbart, but I believe he wasn't obviously looking at the Mercers, he was looking at Bannon, and when he looked at Bannon, he found something. It's not going to, you know, ruin their individual lives or anything. I think you're just going to see their power wane. We had this card, we haven't had it for a while, but we had it back with the Trump family and hasty revenge. So I think whether Bannon, because he's such a loose cannon, could have a hasty, ill-thought-out revenge on them, i.e. putting them down because they've cut ties with him. He's very vengeful and he's very destructive. So my first thoughts on that were Bannon having been supported for years by the Mercers. He might have given Muller deliberately the dirt on them that's going to come and smack them round the legs. That's interesting. So yes, they're going to be around, and no, they're not going to be quite as powerful as they were, but money talks, and so they will undoubtedly be able to fund other hideous alternatives to Steve Bannon. He's not alone in the world. There are other people who want to see America divided, particularly along the lines of ethnicity, but any division's a good division in their world, and they're very destructive beings. So I'm going to move on now to, I have had a request for Tom Steyer, so I thought if I'm looking at the Republican mega donors, I would look at Tom Steyer, who I didn't know about prior to doing a bit of research for this reading. He's a mega donor for the Democratic Party. So Tom Steyer, is he going to have an influence on the next election? Tom Steyer. What's happening with Tom Steyer? Will he have an influence on the next election? Sun, radiant sun. This is a fresh new reading, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt at this stage that he's a ray of sunshine, without the obvious thing of my politics, which are perfectly apparent to anyone who watches any of these videos. I don't have a particular agenda with him, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, this could be him or someone he supports. This is the card of someone who's on the way up, if you like. It's a courtier card. I suspect it's not him. I think it's a new leader he will support. This card is turning up all the time when we talk about the Democratic Party and the new leader. And I don't think, viewers, it is Oprah. So a new, fresh, younger leader. Is he supporting it? This candidacy won't be straightforward either. It never is. A lot of conflict. And in the light of this is a reading about the Democratic Party, essentially. They want his money, of course, but they will not, the old guard will not be happy with the new guard. And from what I've read about Tom Steyer, and I stress that isn't a lot, one of his themes has been getting the next generation voting, and they will be more attracted to a younger leader. He's going to offer them millions to support a younger leader and then be caught in a shit fight with the old guard, who are going to go, no, we need more seasoned political players and so forth. So the older players in the Democratic Party are going to fight him about his anointment of a younger leader. The card of the martyr or of hard work, if it's not the martyr, it does represent hard work, bringing it together. That may not altogether be a bad thing, but if you look wands and wands, a lot of conflict and a battle of the egos, a battle of the willpower will go on. I'm going to draw one more card for Steyer. The Lovers. So, given that I'm not reading on his love life, it's a fairly benign and bountiful card. The sun will shine on his attempts to do it. So it helps if you've got billions to throw at your pet project. But he has, and at least it's decent, and he cares about the environment, and he cares about young people. So he's got a good chance of winning the fight, and his hard work arguing with them might pay off. So I think he will be instrumental in this next election cycle. So that's your catch-up reading. I'll start uploading these. Love you all. Keep the comments happening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.